How many have you forgiven today? Chapter 24, Part 2. Spike has been watching Twilight wandering the halls from afar. He has no idea what's going on with her, but he knows that it's gotta be something big to put her in this mood. Nothing he can remember compares to how Twilight is acting right now. Sure, he's seen her down in the dumps, he's seen her sad, even seen her go mental over a completely arbitrary assignment for the princess. But this was on an entirely different level. She seems almost disconnected with the world around her, simply walking without so much as a single care for who or what is around her. He has to do something. He can't stand to see Twilight like this. Spike runs up to Twilight and walks beside her.
Twilight, are you alright?
He asks, matching her pace. She doesn't respond. It's like she's zoned out. He pokes her a few times.
Twilight?
Twilight stops in place and slowly looks over at Spike. Her eyes were still creepily devoid of emotion, something he's only seen from one creature, Anon. However, her eyes show a slight sparkle as she seems to come back to reality.
Spike?
She looks around the hall, a bit dazed.
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? What are you doing here? You've been walking around the castle for hours now. Don't you know what time it is?
Twilight looks over to an open window and notices the sun is no longer in the sky.
Guess I've been busy.
She says, as she turns to Spike.
Shouldn't you be in bed?
How can I sleep when you're walking the halls?
He asks.
What's wrong with you?
Twilight turns away from Spike. She doesn't know what to say. That's actually wrong. She knows exactly what to say, but saying it would tell him the truth of what happened in Ponyville. So she doesn't know what to tell him. In one hoof, Spike is worried about her and wants to help, but this isn't something he can help with, nor is it something she wants him to be involved in. But in the other, she feels completely isolated, with no one to turn to.
I've just had a lot of stuff put on my plate.
Twilight says.
I've been studying for so long, and I don't know what I've learned is even helpful anymore.
Why are you studying social stuff anyways?
Spike asks, confused.
You already have friends.
Twilight lets out a sigh.
I don't know a lot about what makes a pony tick, let alone another creature. If you ask me about magic, I can answer without a single error. But if you ask me about what is the appropriate way to tell someone you're sorry, then I'm stumped.
Spike has no idea what she's talking about. He's still fuzzy on why they're here to begin with, though it seems that it's really important to Twilight, enough to turn her into the walking mess she is now.
Why can't you just say you're sorry?
He asks, innocently.
It's not that simple. I did something pretty awful.
More awful than when I destroyed Ponyville with my greed?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Spike thinks for a moment.
Well, why can't you just say you're sorry and then try and help fix what you did? That's what we did.
Twilight lets out a sigh.
I can't fix what I broke, Spike. No matter how many years pass, it'll never be what it was.
This is so complicated. Not only because Spike still has no idea what Twilight is talking about, but it seems that whatever she did has a no-win scenario. Though if Spike has learned anything from his time in Ponyville, it's that there is no such thing as a no-win scenario. You just have to try hard enough, and everything will work out in the end.
Why not just give it a try?
Spike urges.
It's not like walking around the castle will accomplish anything. I'm sure if you're sincere in your apology, then everything will be just fine.
Twilight doesn't have the heart to tell him that not everything can work out in the end. She doesn't want him to lose that innocence about him. She doesn't know how long she can protect him from the truth, but acting how she is now will only accelerate it. She must put on a fake smile for him, if only to make him feel better. Twilight feels another shock inside of her heart. That train of thought. Is that another thing Anon felt? Is that why he never told anyone about what was happening? To protect them from the truth? Twilight can feel her eyes glisten some, but she quickly wipes them away as she looks at Spike with a forced smile.
You're right. I've just been obsessing about what would happen.
She takes a deep breath in to calm her nerves. Another trait she recalls Anon doing a lot.
Are you hungry?
Spike can feel his worry for Twilight melt some, as he sees her mood brighten some. His stomach lets out a large growl.
Yeah, I could go for something.
Twilight chuckles hollowly. This mask she has on, it hurts in a way. Yet it's the only thing she can do to make Spike not worry about her. She feels so heavy, a burden unlike any others on her back. But despite her suffering, she's content with the idea that her problems are no longer hurting Spike. Again, she feels that shot in her heart of realization. There's so much she doesn't understand about Anon, but she's starting to see what he was going through, if only by a little. This is never going to become normal for Anon. He's just standing there, watching both sisters walk into the bath after having disrobed. They do it so casually because it's something that's fine with him. He still has the hesitation inside of him. Not to mention, he is in many ways lucky the first time. Luna pushed him into the water and then removed his clothes, but that's not the case this time. He's going to have to get naked in front of them and then get into the bath. The thought alone is enough to get his heart racing. There aren't many things that bother Anon, but he never liked the idea of being nude. There's something about it that makes him feel vulnerable. Perhaps it's the idea of being exposed to the elements, but he knows it's the thoughts of those around to see him that fill him with fear. The thought of being looked at, examined. He feels a chill run up his spine. A thought of Twilight flashed into his thoughts.
Are you coming in?
Luna asks Anon. Anon looks up to see both sisters are already in the bath. The two of them have their sights directly on Anon. Why do they have to look at him like that? It's almost like they're being given a show of some kind. Celestia and Luna feel as if they're getting a show. While they have bathed with Anon before, they've never actually seen anything past his waist. Though, with how they feel about him, their interests of his anatomy are starting to peak. Do you two mind turning around? Anon asks.
Is there a problem?
Celestia asks. Not much of a problem, I just don't like being seen naked. Luna raises a brow.
Even amongst friends?
I just feel more comfortable with not being seen. Luna will admit she is curious to see what Anon has, and this may be the only chance she gets. So Luna gets an idea. An awful idea. Luna has a wonderful, awful idea.
Do you care to see what I have? Perhaps the sharing of genitals would quell your worries.
Both Celestia and Anon's face fill red with embarrassment over what Luna was suggesting. Anon has no idea how to respond to that. He would assume Luna is just messing with him, but her face is totally serious. Is this the D club Anon has heard about? Then again, when has a D club ever had a female in it? This is weird on so many levels, but what Luna says is also true. This is just everyday life for ponies. Ponies are nude most of the time. Even when they wear clothes, a lot of it doesn't even cover their hind end. There's a culture war going on inside of Anon. He really doesn't want to be seen naked, but he's not on Earth anymore. It's been years, and while he's slowly been trying to adjust, there's a lot of things he finds difficult to do. Still, these are also his closest friends, and he trusts them a lot. With his life, even. So was that so wrong? It's just his body, nothing more. This is still weird. I already know what yours looks like. I've walked behind ponies a lot. Anon remarks. Luna can feel her face redden some, but she also smiles at that.
I think it's only fair we see what you have. Think of it as a cultural exchange.
Celestia can tell her sister is drunk on her love for Anon. It's causing her to push far past what she would normally ask of him. However, as much as Celestia wants to protest, she too is interested in seeing what Anon has. He's clearly not a pony, so there's no way it'd look even remotely the same. Celestia shakes her head at those thoughts. She can't think like that right now. She needs to ensure Anon feels alright with what's happening.
We will turn around if that's what you wish.
Celestia speaks out.
I understand that where you come from is far different than Equestria. I don't want to push you into something that you are uncomfortable with.
Anon winces inside. He's making a big deal out of nothing. There are plenty of places on Earth where being naked is totally fine. If anything, this is just another step of growing his friendship with the sisters. If only they were brothers, then it'd be a lot less awkward. Who is he kidding? It'd be an entirely new level of awkward.
Fine.
Anon stutters out. Celestia and Luna hold their breaths as Anon takes off his jacket.
Is this hot spring getting hotter?
Both sisters cannot turn away as they watch him disrobe. This is the first time either of them have felt such a strong yearning for something in their life. Enough to light a fire inside the both of them. They start sweating as their bodies get hotter.
Why is this so exciting?
Anon finally works his way down to his boxers. He looks back up to see both sisters have their sights trained on him. Why do they have to look at him like that? He know he's a weird human, but do they really have to be so blatant about looking at his junk? He's already in too deep. He can't back out now, no matter how awkward this is. Anon finally mans up and drops his underwear. It feels as if time slows for him, but he pushes past that as he walks over and gets into the bath. Both sisters are stuck in shock. They actually saw it. It looked so different from what they know, and yet that did little to cool the burning flame that is now an inferno. It takes them a few moments to notice Anon has taken his seat between them, his face completely red. Luna's face quickly grows into a smile.
We are proud of you, Anon.
She says, as she stands up and turns her hind ends to Anon.
Now to show you what I have.
Without a single moment of hesitation, Luna tosses her tail onto her back. Anon's eyes go wide at the sight before him, and just as quickly as he's seen it, Luna drops her tail. She giggles to herself as Anon covers his red face. Well, that's an image he'll never forget.
Now that that's over, can we just act normal for now?
Anon practically pleads.
Of course.
Celestia says, still stunned by what her sister just did. Luna cuddles up to Anon.
Admit it, you feel better now, don't you?
He really doesn't want to admit that, but yeah, Luna's right. It wasn't anything special for him to be seen nude, nor was it special for Luna to show him her privates. This is just normal for them. So all he can do is accept what has happened and tried his best to suppress the voice shouting in the back of his mind about Luna's hoo-ha.
Maybe I was overthinking this.
Anon admits.
Still doesn't make it any less weird.
I'm proud you've taken such a big step for yourself.
Celestia comes in.
Well, let's just not talk about this anymore, alright?
That's fine.
Luna says.
So, wash me?
She asks. Anon hangs his head slightly. No rest for him, it seems.
Sure.
This entire turn of events is weird for Anon, and while he won't admit it to the sisters, this moment is enough to help him forget about all the bad stuff that happened today. He's thankful in many ways for them, and it's only because of them that he's willing to challenge himself to do more. Yeah, we know exactly who would drop their pants immediately with no hesitation. Anyway, let's get off of that topic and let's get on to our appropriate donators. Top donators are 630, Onlyonething, Ceru, Orion, and IronSky. Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel, Sky, Austin, Rolan, Stu, Hex, Sword Brother, Mordred, Omicron, Lyrae, Runeslife, 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Ride, Soul, Batters, Waffle, Shadow, Luigi, 88, Chancellor Crust, Big Smoke 369, Jesse Smith, Bobcat, GGF, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.